And we're live. Right, guys. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
And we're live for what should be a really good one. Phone calls from the dead. Right, guys. Good evening, everyone. Oops, mute me, telly. Phone calls from the dead. There's some interesting ones here. I know Linda's been too busy. She's been working and had a lot going on. So she's going to be Linda's going to be the pretty one tonight instead of me. So
not laughing at you, Linda, but Carl, I've told you about looking in them mirrors before, Carl. Especially them circus ones.
No, I don't mind the circus ones. They actually make me look slim, so I like them ones.
I'll swap you with the one I've got because it makes me look bloody humongous.
How is everyone this evening?
Not free bad.
Yeah. I've better weeks.
Been tired of the heat.
Yeah.
109 yesterday, 107 today. Well, a storm came in and knocked it down to like 85 really fast. So that was nice. All the doors and windows are open in the house now.
Right.
I haven't been paying attention to the numbers, but it's been that warm here. I've been soaking wet from here down all day. And I've walked about 12 miles today with the tours I've done.
Good evening,
hey,
Landy.
Cole.
All right, Cole. How
yes,
are you?
segue.
Right. So, sitting there getting a phone call, and you're talking to a person, you think, hold on, hi, Eileen. I recognise this voice, and then it dawns on you the person you're talking to is a family member or a friend, and you know for a fact that they died previously. So, who wants to start this one?
I've got a few. I've nothing famous. Lad, his older brother's best mate died. They were sat watching telly. He got a phone call. His brother got a phone call. Put it on loudspeaker, and it came up. It was Joe, not our Joe, obviously. Came up on his phone saying it was Joe, saying, "You've got to help me. There's something seriously wrong. You've got to help me." And the phone went dead. And they both recognised the voice of this lad called Joe, but they'd buried him that afternoon.
Wow. Wow.
They tried ringing it back. This was over in America. They tried ringing it back and it went to phone is unavailable. Tried tracing the call. Nothing. Couldn't understand why it had happened. But they both agreed that it was the lad they'd buryed's voice. Wow. And like I say, there's something seriously wrong. You've got to come and help me.
That is creepy. We've had a message from Eileen Murray. Not a phone call, but a text came from my aunt to my mum the night after she died to say that she was okay and not to worry.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's things like that are lovely, lovely.
Yeah. Well, I had it in person with my grandmother. My Irish granny when she died. Like I said, I explained before.
Yeah.
I woke up the night she died.
Wow.
My brother's a lot younger than me, 7 years younger than me. He was about 5 or 6 at the time. And she was sat on the end of his bed. She died in Ireland. We live in England. She sat on the end of the bed and she looked across at me and just said, "I'm okay." And I just rolled over and went back to sleep. For years, I never even thought of it as a ghost.
Yeah.
It was just so natural.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can't directly say I've had it. Closest I've experienced that, as I said before, I was asleep and I was dreaming. And they say spirit can come through in sleep in your dreams. I was sat on a bench looking out to sea, and a young boy came, sat down beside me. We didn't say a word. We just sat there looking out at the sea, and I just knew it was my son, one of my sons.
I've had a crisis apparition dream many years ago as well. Families being families, sometimes one half doesn't see the other half, yada, yada, yada. Well, we moved up to Scotland when I was 4.
Yeah.
When I was 16, I had a dream about my grandma. And she was sitting on like a queen's throne. And she was in tears. And she couldn't move her legs. And I knew fine well this was my grandma, even though I hadn't seen her since I was 4 and all the rest of it. And I was really upset by this. And I couldn't figure out where this had come from or whatever. Well, we weren't back in contact with that side of the family until I was about 19 going on 20. And because the psychic side in my family comes down that side of the family, I said to my grandma about this dream. And she says, when was that? So I told her I would have been 16. And at the time, I could remember roughly what month it was and when.
Yeah.
And she turns around and she's like, oh, that's interesting. And I says, how? And she's, well, that week I had fallen off the back step and broke my ankle. And then I was out to get a shovel full of coal. And the wind lifted me up and dropped me onto the steps and broke my other ankle. And I was sat on the steps for 3 hours until somebody came home.
Jesus.
And I'm like, that's freaky.
Welcome, everyone.
I haven't seen her since I was 4, but somehow she was able to send out a help psychically to whoever, wherever, and I happened to be the one that picked it up.
Wow.
But I couldn't have done anything at the time, but I was amazed that it just happened to be the same kind of time and roughly the same week.
Well, so, at the moment we've got 6 here on YouTube. I'm not sure on TikTok. We started off with 6, actually, I think it was. I am streaming it. I've got my phone aimed at my TV because I cannot get the TikTok live studio to work properly. It just messes up all the time. And we've got a fair old few on there watching as well. So welcome everyone on TikTok.
Oh, cool. Hello, TikTok.
Well, I'll have to get my old glasses on, I suppose, because I've actually took notes this time. 2nd week in a row I've took notes.
Yay.
Make sure you got the right glasses on.
Yeah, no, these are the right ones because you now look handsome, Ian.
Jesus.
But these are definitely the right ones.
What's your Specsavers then?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm walking away from camera, but I will still hear you. But being that I've been at work since 9 o'clock this morning and I'm just in the door, I'm starving. So I'm going to go make a sandwich, but I'm still listening.
Enjoy. Only half a sugar for me, please, Linda. Right, this one was the first one I came across when I was doing a bit of research today. It almost sounds like what it'd be in a film or maybe a book or something. But it flashed up on the news at the bank in the middle of a little South Carolina town. And this is what makes me a little bit suspicious because it didn't say the name of the town in the report. But the bank had been robbed and 3 people had been shot and killed. The phone rang. Voice said, I'm okay, honey. Don't worry. Everything will be fine. Just remember, I love you. The voice was James, her husband. Shannon began to say, I was so worried. And because James is a cashier at the bank, the phone began to crackle and James's voice began breaking up. And she kept calling out, I can barely understand you. Can you speak up? There was a knock at the door and their son said, Mum, the police are at the door. A little confused, Shannon said, James, hold on, the police are at the door. Ma'am, are you the wife of James? And then said his surname. I've deliberately not said the surname on this.
Yeah.
The woman nodded and said, I'm afraid to inform you that during the robbery, your husband James was shot and killed. Stunned and confused, Shannon said to the officer, no, you're mistaken. I'm on the phone to my husband right now. And spoke down the phone and said, James, the police are here saying that you died in the robbery. Will you explain to the officer that you're okay? And all she got back was, remember, Shannon, I love you. And it turns out James was the first person that was shot and killed during the robbery.
Oh.
That has just brought me out in goosebumps.
I've got goosebumps.
Snap.
The thing that makes me a little suspicious about this one, however, is they didn't give a name for the town that it happened in.
Yeah.
They gave the name of the people, but not the name of the town.
Yeah.
It may be a case that the family don't want it going out, so they're allowed to use the first names, but they don't want to give location because that would narrow it down too much, maybe.
Yeah, I must admit,
if it's within living memory, anyway.
I couldn't see a year. I didn't see. Sorry, Eileen, I put the wrong one up first. There we go. Eileen said, I've had some vivid visitation dreams at times of stress, usually from my dad. I'm convinced they were more than just dreams. And she went on to say, years ago, my mobile was called by my partner's mobile, but his was switched off. And in a drawer, he was sitting with one. 10 minutes later, hospital called to say his dad was in crisis. So, interesting.
Yeah, it could well be that it is your dad, and you are doing it subconsciously. Certainly, if you relied on your dad for a lot of information and he was your support, he's still reaching out from beyond the veil, helping you, but subconsciously you're bringing him through as well. What would my dad?
Yeah.
If you were used to going talking to your dad, you're still doing that and bringing him through.
Yeah,
I've got one here. This person says that, and I'll just read the little story here. My mom had died in December of 2014. And in the spring of 2015, I got a text message from her. I was with my friend in a car, and the phone displayed mom on the screen, accompanied by one of those inspirational messages in the form of a meme. I'm glad she was there to witness that, her friend. We had disconnected her phone a few weeks after she passed. I tried to call the number, but it was not in service. It was very strange. I had the text on my phone for years until I got a new phone, and it was lost.
Wow.
Yeah. I kind of like that one.
I kind of like that one.
Yeah.
Kind of like that one. I'm not saying that one about James was BS. It may not have been. Maybe it is true. Maybe it's not. But it's the one that Joe just said. I'm more believing in that than I am about the young guy that. Well, I don't know if it was young or old or what, but the guy that actually got killed in the bank robbery.
Well, usually in things like the bank robbery, you find names have been changed anyway.
Yeah.
So they might put it out with a name, and the reason they've not given the state is for exactly what
Linda said. Yeah.
Linda said, excuse me. Exactly what Linda said. If they gave names, the name of the thing, people would think, hang on a minute, that was such and such a body.
Yeah. So I'm raising my cameras off at the moment. I've moved my laptop round so I can see my phone as well, just in case.
You're not moving, are you?
No. I know what Joe's like underneath the desk, so leave it for just Joe. But no, I needed to move my laptop so that I can actually see the screen on my phone, because unfortunately I cannot get, as I've said before, I cannot get the TikTok live strip thing to work for some reason. My processing power is just not enough. Another one from Eileen. Yes, from what you've said, Ian, I was very close to my dad and still talk to him. He has given me proof conclusive that there is life beyond. That's when things like that happen. It's amazing. It really is.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my dad died 10 years ago. I talk to my dad every day. Whenever I go on investigations and the like, I firmly believe that it's my dad who's my shield.
Well, I'm hoping my one's on fire at the moment, so.
I'm turning my camera off because you don't want to sit and watch me stuff my face.
You know, you make a lot of money sitting there eating on YouTube. Some people do that.
Yeah.
Called feeders or something.
I was wrong glass again. Right, I've got another one. This, I believe, was from in the 70s. I believe it was. Let me put the camera back on. Right. This is the
I was
case
scared there for a minute.
This is the case of Bonnie McConnell. Apparently, she was busy preparing the Sunday dinner for her and her husband when the phone rang, and it was an old acquaintance, Enid Johnson, and she hadn't spoken to her for about a year. They sat and chatted for a rather long time, including the usual pleasantries. Oh, how have you been? What have you been up to? That sort of thing. And Enid said, yes, I'm rather well, thank you. And that she'd moved into a nursing home. Towards the end of the call, Bonnie said, I'll pop to see you tomorrow. And I'll bring you a bottle of that brandy that you like so we can sit and catch up on old times. Amy's attitude changed to that comment, and she said rather sternly, no, I have no need for such things anymore. And that's when the call ended. That evening over dinner, Bonnie said to her husband, you'll never guess who I spoke to on the phone today, and went ahead and told him about a phone call with Enid. The next day, Bonnie made her way to the care home, and at reception asked which room Enid Johnson was in. The receptionist looked at Bonnie with concern on her face. The receptionist informed Bonnie that Mrs. Johnson had recently passed away and offered her sympathies. Bonnie asked when her friend had died because she had only spoken to her the day before while preparing her and her husband's Sunday dinner. Receptionist looked at her very confused and said, you must be mistaken. I was on duty when Miss Johnson died. She had passed away on Friday night and was found dead in her favourite chair on Saturday morning. So
Love it.
I'm reading that one. I realised how bad my dyslexia actually is with the spelling. So what do you think? Thoughts on that one, guys?
There seems to be a lot of that when you read some of the stories. The getting a phone call from someone and then going to wherever. But my question on that side is, if you're getting a phone call,
you
would think that they'd be trying to pass a message on.
Yeah.
Something in life that there was something in life that is so important that they're trying to get a message through. Even if it's just to say, like Eileen said, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so
whatever was delivered or whatever was said could have been important to that person who was calling. So
we got another comment from the lovely Eileen. My dad thought paranormal stuff was all poo, but has since admitted he was wrong. Sorry, my reading is dreadful today. It really is. Apologies, guys.
My dad did the same thing. He didn't like the paranormal at all. But it was funny because when I would tell stories or do stuff, he'd be sitting there just listening to everything I was saying. But he said, no, none of that's right. None of it's real. Yeah. And then, what was that? What was that? How did that go? So,
So he never poo-pooed it as such. He didn't believe in it.
Yeah.
But he never put me down for believing it. And he had one paranormal experience while he was out in the Far East. When he was doing his service, he was on patrol one night. He was actually out on an outpost as a guard. He said, and I could literally see for a good half mile all around me. He said, but there was no one there. I was the only one out there, middle of nowhere. He said, but about half an hour into his shift, he got a feeling that he was being watched. couldn't shake the feeling at all. Went out for a walk round. Had a look, couldn't see anything. And then he knew someone was stood behind him.
Yeah.
He said, but there was no one there. He said, I've never felt anything like it. It scared the living daylights out of me. It's the only paranormal experience he's had.
Yeah.
And he never had anything other than
He
that?
never had anything else not that he ever spoke to me, and we spoke about it a few times.
So he may have possibly and just not mentioned it, or had one and thought, oh no, it's not. And
he was a very pragmatic, practical person.
Yeah.
There was a reason for everything.
As Arlene's put here, it just takes one personal experience to make you a believer. I do believe that actually. That can happen.
So here's another one. It's a quickie. Just gonna tell the story. When I was a kid, I picked up the phone with an old lady on the other side asking for my mom by name. When I asked who it was, she said Auntie May. My mom looked shocked and picked up the phone, and then Auntie May wasn't there any longer. She was brought up by Auntie May, but Auntie had died in 1962. Probably a coincidence, but a pretty strange one, this person said.
Wow. Well, there's I did actually have a look at it online briefly. I only glanced through it, but there's a book called Phone Calls from the Dead.
A couple of them, yeah.
The one I was looking at was by Scott Rogo and Raymond Bayliss from 1979. It's quite an old book. And the synopsis of it, I was looking up, basically said they basically worked out that came to the conclusion there's two distinct types of these otherworldly phone calls. The phone rings from an unknown number or a loved one or a friend and that doesn't speak. There's only static and white noise there. And the other is a phone call is from a friend or a loved one, and what they're saying is confusing, and the receiver later finds out that the person had died. And these type of calls tend to come within 24 hours of the person's passing.
Yeah.
So
you just reminded me of a story that I did know that I haven't researched. Carry on.
No, that's because I basically, I said I read a quick look through it, and that's basically what I wrote down there. There seems to be about 20. There's one I actually put it in the YouTube channel. I done an AI for it. They got a guy got killed in a train crash, and for 24 hours, I think it's something like 18 missed calls from his phone or something that they'd got. Now, see, in that situation, I don't remember. I can't really remember off the top of my head. If the phone was just going off and like ringing and then cutting off and ringing and then cutting off, it could be that it was damaged during the train crash.
Mm-hmm.
And it may not be anything paranormal. However, that said, if it was ringing, I was answering it, and then I was hearing the static and hearing his voice, that's a slightly different situation.
The one story that I knew, which I had completely forgotten about until just now, it's from the States. I forget which one. I want to say it's Minnesota or somewhere. And it's from the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
This family were Kennedy worshippers, right? They were full-on Kennedy worshippers.
Yeah.
And a few months before the whole JFK thing, one of the aunties was involved in a bad car accident, and she was in a coma. Well, this one particular night, about 7 o'clock, the house phone rings, and it's Auntie. She's woken up in the hospital, and she's seen on the news that JFK's been shot. They're so shocked hearing from Auntie, believing she's still in a coma, that it doesn't even occur to them to take notes, record the call, whatever. But Auntie is so upset that JFK has been shot And then she's like, oh, the nurse is here. I have to go take my medication. And she hangs up. 2 days later, JFK was shot.
Interesting.
Auntie passed away in the coma 4 days later.
So she never really woke up ever.
She never, ever woke up.
Wow.
So how did she make the phone call? And the phone call was 2 days early anyway.
Yeah. That brings up a really good point. 60s. I think some of the phone calls and stuff from the dead on the old landlines, the wired, have to have your cord plugged in. I think that's much more feasible. Well, maybe not much more feasible, but more feasible than the mobile. Because if you want the phone to ring, I could see a ghost going in and saying, okay, let's add a little more current. And there it goes.
Yeah.
The line was always powered.
Yeah.
So I can see that happening.
Trouble is with rotary phones, yourselves, if you can remember that far back, rotary phones regularly got cross wires.
Mm-hmm.
So we used to have a party line.
Yep.
Yeah. I did when we
shared the line with a family across the road.
Oh, we had
pick the phone up and hear them yammering.
So the thing is, some of these calls on the old, because a lot of the stories that I found had a tendency to be on rotary. There are some that I found that are supposedly on mobile phones, but most of them tended to be on rotary phones.
Yeah, I've got several that are on mobile phones, and I know that's there, but it takes a lot more to ring a mobile phone than it did to ring a rotary phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's a lot more complicated.
Not when you had an emergency, Eileen.
Just a quick comment to those that have been kind enough to watch on TikTok. Apologies, I can't get the processor on my laptops is not powerful enough to make the TikTok live studio work properly. So that's why we're having to do it this way. If you want to come and join a conversation, go over to youtube.com and look up Weird Wednesday Para Podcasts, like, subscribe, and come and join in with the conversation. Come and join the other 7 people that are kindly watching. I had a message from my friend Tina over in Ireland. She's been busy working and she'll try and pop on tonight, but she's been so busy working, she's not been able to watch any of the previous streams. So maybe she's one of the 7 that are watching. But no, see, with the rotary, because you'd regularly get a cross line. I remember talking to people back in the day, and I'm thinking, oh, why are you saying that for? And they're like, well, that wasn't me that said that. And it was another line that had crossed.
Yeah.
Now, how many times has it happened that people thought they've had calls from the dead and the person's gone, oh, well, basically, this is my aunt, this is my uncle, this is my brother, my mum or dad, because of conversations that the other person had just by coincidence happens to correspond to what they know from their past. If that makes sense?
Yeah.
Because you could be saying, you could be, I don't know, say your Uncle Jack had just died and you had a cross line, Jack's a common name, somebody in your town could phone up a member of their family and go, oh, do you know Uncle Jackie's just died? And, it could easily be done. Mobile phones.
I don't remember lines being crossed often enough to be causing that kind of an issue. I remember anytime, well, of course, it's a different phone system than what you guys have.
Yeah.
But I remember occasionally you would hear bleed over from one phone call into yours, and then it would stop.
Yeah.
And that was really it, but it would be fuzzy. You could barely understand what they were saying. It just sounded like another voice and it's gone.
And that's what a lot of the so-called reports from the phone calls from the dead report, that there's a lot of static, there's a lot of white noise, they're breaking up, they sound at a really long distance away. So I'm just wondering how often is it simply something as simple as on mobile phones, you're not as likely to get a cross line now. Mm-hmm. So that makes it a little bit more unexplainable. But back in the day, with a rotary, Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. Like I said, when we first got a phone, we had a party line. But depending on the weather, sometimes you pick the phone up to make a phone call and the other house would be on the phone and it was clear as day.
Yeah.
You could understand them, you could hear them as if they were like we are now.
Yeah.
Other times, when they were literally across the road and 3 houses up from us. Other times you couldn't hear them. You could, like Joe said, you could just hear a very distant voice and crackling and
and that is in a lot of the reports, especially like in that phone calls from the dead by Roger and Bayliss. They said that's one of the common things, that it's a lot of white noise, a lot of static. They sound like they've got the phone on the side and they're standing at the other side of the room talking, and you can barely hear them. It's echoey, it's tinny. These all sound very, very similar to cross lines.
Yeah. But again, with that as well, atmospherics made a lot of difference in those days. Thunderstorms, something tapping on the wire, they caught on the wire and drag it, moving it. They played a hell of a lot of whether you got a decent call or not.
Yeah, even something simple as a bird sitting on the phone line.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you just reminded me of when I was little and I used to phone up and ask to speak to Busby.
Oh, Busby! God, that's a name. That's a blast from the past. Wow.
Yeah, Mum used to let us phone up to speak to Busby, but he was never in.
Very busy then, Busby.
Another one here from Eileen. Our voices through white noise on radio the same. I was actually going to say,
I would say that there's a lot of similarities because they're all using sound waves and all the rest of it. It's very similar technology. And for the ghost to manipulate the radio waves, I would suggest, certainly with mobile phones.
See, actually, before Eileen mentioned that, I was sitting here thinking about mentioning it. It's somewhat like the PSB7 and these spirit boxes.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a big believer in that. Trying to think of the name. Spirit, Shadow Paranormal, I think they're called. They've been doing it about 15 years, I think, and they're quite well known on YouTube. They've got quite a big following. They went to Hadley Castle, where me and ex took the kids the other week, and they done an experiment on there. Now, the PSB7 especially, which is what they was using, I think he said it was 14 channels that without fail, 100% of the time, a voice came through. Without fail. And you could say, oh, was somebody there? And if it just so happens to go past that, and or you say, what's your name? It just happens to go past that, and the DJ on the radio goes, and here's so-and-so, you're going to think, oh, a spirit's just said what their name's John or something, when it's actually just a DJ on the radio, and he just so happens to correspond.
Mm-hmm.
Would calls from the dead, would that be the same principle? Would calls from the dead?
You're supposedly on a single line on a call from somebody.
Yeah.
You know, it's patched through.
It's where they recognize the voice.
Right.
Yeah.
And put the voices and name together, and it's like, oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, there's no mistaking it's their voice. There's no mistaking it's come through allegedly from their phone number.
The people that are the equipment that is based on radio, you know, going to a frequency or scanning a bunch of frequencies and stuff, I don't really trust that at all because of what you just said, Carl.
Yeah.
Because you're picking up things. I mean, it's really fast, but you're picking things up. My friends Tony and Sheree Rathman out in Arizona, they've got a system that they're calling Staticom. Staticom 3.0 now. And that just uses a homemade white noise generator.
Mm-hmm.
So Tony built this white noise generator, put it in the system, and that's all it puts out is white noise. And then they heterodyne that sucker all the way down to where they're actually hearing individual voices in that white noise. And it's absolutely awesome. They're on Facebook. You can take a look at the Staticom 3.0.
Yeah, I'll
But
tell you.
it is really awesome stuff. They were just at the Phelps Dodge Hospital in Ajo, Arizona, which we used to go to quite often. And but it was closed down for a number of years. A new person bought it and then closed it down and said, I don't believe in the paranormal stuff at all. And now it's open to some people. So Tony and Cherie were down there with their Staticom picking up some really cool stuff. And you can hear the individual voices, guys, girls are all talking. They'll argue with each other. It's really neat. So, yeah.
We've got another comment from Eileen. We use shortwave radio, no voice banks, etc. Obviously debunk irrelevant sounds, but when intelligent responses come through, there's so very, very little on shortwave nowadays.
Yeah.
Well, the most notorious for that is obviously he who should not be named, Huff.
Voldemort?
Yeah, Voldemort.
Voldemort would probably do a better job.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'd rather hear Voldemort.
More believable anyway.
Oh, not being funny. The following day, after Ozzy had died, he'd already put one of his fake videos out. So, and I'm still mourning Ozzy.
We all are.
So, well, I've got one other that I'd found, and this is a very famous author. And Joe being an author, go check out. Anyone on TikTok as well, look up Joe Thompson on Amazon. He's got loads of brilliant books out there. Still waiting for the autographed copy for CJ.
Yeah, I've got to order it. I haven't ordered it. I don't have it here at the house.
Right. So this one is Dean Koontz. Now, isn't Dean Koontz the guy that wrote Slugs and the Rats?
No, that was James Herbert, The Rats.
No, James Herbert.
He is horror. He is a horror.
Dark They Were with Golden Eyes is one that I've got. The Watchers.
I've got is on my shelf.
In fairness, I haven't done any reading for a long time because you can get so much stuff on the internet. But my author's go-to is
I'm trying to squint across the room. I've got an entire shelf in my bookcase that's full of Koontz.
Well, you've got about 500 bookshelves in your front room, Linda.
Well, yeah, but they're the furthest away ones. This one would be better, but this has got the old VHSs on.
Right, this one. I'm going to put my camera off because I want to have a cigarette. Right, well-known author Dean Koontz was at work writing in his office when the phone rang. Being as when he was writing, he didn't like to be disturbed, and only a very few people had the office phone number, and for it to ring, he knew it must be somewhat important because people knew not to disturb him. He picked up the phone and... Oh, sorry, hold on, I've got the wrong glasses on, that's why I'm struggling. There we go. Right, he picked up the phone and, like a chapter from one of his books, he heard static and started calling out hello a couple of times before hanging up. Just as he was about to hang up, he heard a voice say, "Please be very careful." Confused and a little angry that someone may have been playing a prank on him, he said, "Who is this?" The voice, that of a female, Koontz later recognizes his grandmother, who had died 20 years earlier. A few days later, he went to see his father in a hospital who was suffering dementia or some form of dementia. Everything was fine, and for no reason whatsoever, his dad flipped and lunged at him and tried to stab him with a knife. They ended up wrestling, landing on the floor. The dad still trying to stab Dean. He managed to get the knife off of his dad, and as he happened to stand up and turn around with the knife in his hand while stood over his dad, a nurse or a manager or somebody in the hospital had called the police. He stood up with the knife in his hand over his father laying on the floor with a gun being pointed at his head. The police officer came in and assumed that he had tried to attack his dad. The officer said, "Put the knife down before I shoot." Everything was all up in the air, confused. He'd just been attacked by his dad. He didn't know what was going on. So it took him a few moments to drop the knife. The police officer was about to pull the trigger when the manager walked in the room and it stopped the copper and explained everything that had happened. He later said that he remembered the voice of his grandma saying, "Being very careful." So, I did write down a whole thing of it, but looking at it, my dyslexia was a lot worse than I thought it was. So I can't actually recognise a lot of the words that I've written, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but,
Kuntz did the series of books about Odd Thomas and Brother Odd
Yes,
and all that.
Yeah.
But
The
the
books were
Watchers
great.
is the first one of his
The
that
movie
I
was
read.
horrible.
I absolutely love that film, Odd Thomas.
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of people slag it off, but I actually think it was really good, and especially the way it dissolves with butterflies at the end. So, but what are your thoughts on that? Because you think the thing is, he's a writer, so
Yeah, to be very careful.
Ideas.
You know, Carl, things happen to authors as well.
Yeah,
Just thought I'd bring that up.
It just means that they've got a better way of describing it.
Yeah,
That's exactly right. We can use words to do stuff, but yeah, I mean, just because he's an author, I'm not going to throw it away.
Well, that's it.
I'm not,
I mean,
I'm not throwing
even
it away, but an author, you know yourself, Joe, because you've written several books. You'll have ideas in your head, and you might be sitting there eating dinner and think, "Oh, actually, this bit might be quite a good section in the book."
I carry a notebook with me. I write it down as soon as I come up with the idea, and then never do anything with it.
You're still writing one 9 years on, aren't you?
Well, the one that I just finished, it's going through proofreading and editing and all that. I haven't even started editing yet. But once all this stuff is done, I will have worked on this one for 5 years on and off. So it was so hard to get through some of the parts of the story. I couldn't connect them up to where I wanted them to go. Finally did.
I started with the intro on a book that I was going to write about 18 years ago. I've probably got about 45 pages.
If I wanted to do that now, I'd be okay with the dyslexia and that, because there's Grammarly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, oh yeah, Grammarly's wonderful.
Yeah.
So I've got one here.
Yep.
This person says that I live in a home that's reportedly haunted. I've had several unusual experiences. I have a spare room that has old Victorian furniture and several antiques. I brought an old phone from my parents' house. It has no dial. It was made at the time when you would connect with an operator who would connect you. So just do your thing, pick it up, and there you go. Mm-hmm. It has a cloth cord and sits on an antique end table. One night, it was late, probably 3 a.m., and I was in a twilight sleep. I heard a telephone ring in the other room, an old-fashioned ring, like from that kind of a phone. It woke me up, and I stopped. And I got up and went into the room cautiously and tentatively, picked up the receiver, and there was nothing there because it wasn't hooked up. But the ring was unmistakable. So why would somebody want that person to wake up, or who knows?
Yeah. Could these, so Linda mentioned, I think it was Linda mentioned crisis apparitions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Could these alleged, I'll say alleged, because there's obviously, we're not there, so we can't prove 100% yes or no it happens. It's a story. Whether it's true or not, we don't know because we weren't there. But could these phone calls from the dead be a similar situation to a crisis apparition?
Maybe. Crisis apparition. when I lived in Phoenix, this was probably, 3 years ago this happened, 3 or 4 years ago. I was dead asleep in my room, just gone. And I felt somebody sit on my bed. I think I told you this one, Carl. I felt somebody sit on the side of my bed, and I moved my arm and I hit somebody. So, of course, I freaked out. I said, who the heck is this? I used different words.
Yeah.
But I said, who the heck is this? And I swung my arm and there was nobody there anymore. So I got up, I woke up and I looked around. It's like, wow. So I walked around the house, checking to see if anybody was there. And there was nobody there, but my mom was sitting in the middle of her bedroom floor. And she had fallen after coming back from the bathroom. She had fallen. And I said, how long have you been here? And she says, oh, about 3 minutes, 4 minutes. So I think it was my dad. Realized the mom was in a crisis. She had fallen. She didn't have a blanket or anything. The air conditioning was on, so she was probably getting cold or could have gotten cold. Yeah. So it's like came in and woke me up because I can pick mom up, but Elliot couldn't. So came and woke me up. I went in, and how long have you been here? Oh, 3 or 4 minutes. I said, well, let me help you. Got her back in bed, and everything was good. And got her covered up, and she went back to sleep just fine. But I think that was a crisis apparition right there. I think Dad came in to tell me that she had fallen.
Things like that, it's just cool when that sort of thing happens.
Yeah.
It really is.
Eileen said about the text from her aunt. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
There was one story I didn't know. I was humming and hawing whether to write it down. Well, I have no idea what the dog's doing at the minute. Weird. I was humming and hawing whether to put it down. I decided not to, but Joe saying about the telephone reminded me of one that I'd read earlier today when I was doing a bit of research. Excuse me. Sorry, I've got gas because I've been drinking fizz. There was a young guy who'd gone out to, I think somewhere like the Cotswolds or somewhere like that, hired out a little cottage or some sort of building like that. There was no telephone in there. There was an old rotary phone by the side of the bed, but it wasn't connected. So he thought that was fine. I've come out here just to relax, get away from work, enjoy. He was woken up during the night by a phone ringing. And this is at the time long before mobile phones. He realised it was the old-fashioned rotary phone by the side of his bed. I did actually have photos. They had photos of the actual building and the actual phone, and I should have downloaded it really. But he picked up the phone because he's thinking, "Hang on, this isn't connected. This is weird." And on the phone, it was his dad saying, "Listen, you need to get to mum. You need to go see your mum now."
I saw that one.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not sure what I thought of it, because when he went back after he'd gone and seen his mum and dealt with the whole situation and all that, his dad had been dead, I think, about a year. But when he went back to finish his holiday, the phone wasn't connected. When he spoke to the person that he rented the place from, he said, "No, that phone's never been connected. It's there literally for show."
Yep.
So I'm not sure what to make of that one.
It reminds me of some of the ones I've seen on Paranormal Investigations. Not me personally, but ones I've seen on YouTube. Now, there's one guy, I do respect how he does it, because he is literally middle of nowhere, doesn't tell anybody where he's going, blah, 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 and stumbles across these places that have been, like, the folk have passed on. They've been taken out the house and buried, but the house has just been left as if they're about to come back, sort of thing. And it's in Russia. And he was in this one house, which you could already see the water was getting in and nature was taking over and all the rest. The people died in the 50s. And as he's going through the house, I mean, these houses, they're what we would call basically a pauper's house. It's basically 3 rooms that are only divided by curtains, right?
Yeah.
So it's low-income places. And this one he was in. And as he's wandering around, he'd seen a couple of old rotary phones, like one in the bedroom and one in the living room. Which the living room, it's like you go in the front door and you don't have a lobby. You're straight into the living room, and the bedroom's just through the curtain over there, sort of thing.
The glorified
pretty much, yeah. And he's seen a couple of rotary phones, and he's done the whole close up on them for those that have never used one before and stuff. And he was in the wee room that used to be kind of kitchen come dining room, and you could see massive cracks in the walls and all sorts. You could see the place is like a few years off from not existing. And as he's pottering around, having a look around, and he's setting up tripods to do long shots of rooms so that he's got the whole place covered. And he sits down on one of the dining room chairs, and he's starting to nod off, which was his entire intention. It's like, this chair looks more solid than the others. It's not a soft furnished one, so it's not going to be inhabited by mice and rats. I'll sit on this one and have a wee snooze. As he's nodding off, the phone rings. And he's walking up to it, and he's like, what? And he's videoing it, and he's already lifted it off of the unit to show you that none of the cables are connected. 20 minutes previous. And this phone's ringing. And he's like, what the hell? And he picks it up. And there's like a 1920s show tunes coming through the phone.
I think I've heard that one.
Yeah. And he's like, well, this is weird. And he freaks out, and he puts the phone inside the cardboard box that he finds and shoves it under a unit. While he's doing that and moving the phone away, there's an almighty crash. And the room where he'd set up the tripod and everything to have a snooze, the roof's just caved in.
Wow.
So if the phone hadn't rung, he would have been under
it. Yeah.
And he's done quite a few now, and these rotary phones that are not connected to anything are ringing. And one of them was one where the folk, the newspapers and the calendar are like 1979 that's in the house, and this other one. And rotary phone goes, and you can actually hear somebody breathing on the other end of the phone, but again, all the cables are cut.
That's illegal in some countries. I'd
be grateful for one of them type of calls at the moment.
But I just find it fascinating.
They do.
I just find it fascinating that he's going off to these houses in the middle. I mean, one of the ones.
Now, the thing is, was this a live stream or was it a pre-recorded?
He's got both. He's got snippets up on a pre-record. But then when he gets more than X number of views, he'd be like, right, seeing as you're interested, here's the live version.
Yeah. See, now
the uncut version, should I say.
The skeptic is sorry, but it's the skeptic. The fact that you said about the roof collapsing makes it slightly more interesting. But if it was pre-recorded, from doing experimenting with editing and things for when I had my former team, it's very easy to add the sound of a phone ringing or a baby crying or something like that. So if it was pre-recorded, you could have potentially have.
Well, it's still pre-recorded.
Not being funny enough about himself, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's still pre-recorded from what you've said, Linda. It just shows you snippets.
Shows you snippets at first,
and then
when he puts up the uncut version when he's got
the uncut version could just be as easily be modified.
Well, like this one is live right now, but people can still watch it tomorrow or the next day.
So my cat's decided he wants attention.
They ask about the filters we've all got on.
What is it? Where we got? Perry. Gaz checking in from sunny Berlin. Hiya, Gary.
Yeah.
So I think Linda's the only one that hasn't got a filter. Only reason that I've got my filter on is I'm in the process of painting again, and it's a bit of a mess in here. So the good thing about the blur, it can hide the mess. So.
Yeah, because when I do the visual effect thing, I have I kind of half disappear usually.
No,
part of your hair does, for sure.
Some of your hair's gone missing.
Yeah, exactly.
Mine goes missing every time.
That's what our problem is, Ian. It's
Yeah.
It's like
my hair's longer than Linda in real life.
I think it makes me look smaller and my background look bigger as well. It's weird.
It looks like you're a dwarf, but you're standing inside like Gulliver's bedroom or something.
Yeah.
You've really shrunk down, but when that was off, you actually looked like normal size.
Yeah.
That's weird the way that happens. So, anyone else?
I got my one behind me over here.
Yeah, I've got one. I don't know when this was actually thing, but it says about 6 years ago. Phone call for Emily. This guy who's telling the story worked at the time in a phone shop. He said he got this elderly lady came in.
I'm listening. I'm just going to let the cat back in. I'm listening, but I just want to let everybody in.
And she came in with an old A707 Samsung, which is a flip phone, very basic phone. He said, I worked at AT&T at the time and was used to people coming in fed up and moaning or getting angry and everything. He says, this woman came in and said to me, you're going to think I'm crazy. I thought, well, I've heard it all. I don't know what you're going to tell me that you think's going to make me think you're crazy, but go on. And she told me that she worked at a funeral home and the Samsung she had was her own personal phone and she didn't use it all that often. She'd only got about 3 or 4 names in it of people that she knew very well. She said that several days before, she'd received a phone call from a gentleman needing to use the phone at the funeral home services. And after the call, she went about the day's business as usual. When she was leaving, she received a phone call on her cell phone. The name on the screen said Emily. And the guy says, I didn't think anything strange about this at all. Why would I? He said, so I asked her, what's strange about that? She says, well, I've only got a few names saved in the address book. And I've never, ever put anyone in called Emily. There is no name in my address book and no phone number for Emily. She started looking really disconcerted. I had a look at the phone, couldn't find anything on her phone, couldn't find any reason it would be coming up, Emily. She says, but the thing is, she says, every time I get a phone call now, no matter who it's from, my phone comes up Emily.
Okay.
He said, I even checked this myself. He said, I rang her from my own phone, came up Emily. He said, I rang her from the works phone, the company phone, landline, also came up Emily. He says, and I went and checked to make sure none of my colleagues was mucking about with me. No, there's nothing, no reason it was coming up Emily at all. He said, I didn't know much about software at the time. I said, it's probably just a bug. But it was a very basic phone. And from what the other lads were saying, there's no reason it had come up like that.
Yeah.
It's not like the smartphones we have now where it could. But the name Emily had never been put into the phone. She was adamant like that.
Um,
I went through it with her. I told her my thought process is that it was just a bug. And she said something along the lines of, yeah, that makes sense, but why the name Emily?
Yeah.
That was the name of the recently deceased the man was called about. The person he was making a phone call about burial, the person who died was a person called Emily.
That's interesting.
He says, I had a warranty phone sent to her. I never heard anything more from her.
That's definitely strange. Another message from Eileen. We have got 7 other people on there, so if they want to come and join in, please do. Feel free. Eileen said, we very recently, when investigating, had an intelligent response from a switched-off phone. The Banshee Labyrinth, Nidri, St. Edinburgh. It's up on the page, and it's very clear. Well, I think I have seen that, Eileen, actually, because obviously
my pals got a gig down at the Banshee Labyrinth in a couple of months, and I'm hoping it falls on a day where I don't have to get up early the following day, so I can come down. I'll be going down for the music, but as soon as I get chance, because we'll be getting there to set up before everybody's in, I will be having a wee run round with my voice recorder. Because I've been to Edinburgh many times, but I've never made it to the Banshee Labyrinth in Nidri Street. I've always ended up with loads of other stuff. And the annoying thing is, every time I go to Edinburgh, I end up spending most of the time in Nidri Street, but never get into the place.
That's typical.
I usually stay right around that general vicinity. I'm
down there. I'm down there next Wednesday night. I have to come down. Well, I have to come down on Tuesday, but I didn't get there till like 11:45, 11:45 to midnight, and I've got to leave at 5 o'clock the following day. So I ain't gonna have a chance to do anything next week. But I would have loved to.
Eileen's put, yep, we had Highland Paranormal with them.
All right, yeah.
And I know Ian accidentally missed out on one the other day, didn't you? With Fifth Element, I think it was.
Yes. Yeah, I did.
I've known them guys probably about as long as I've known Joe, about 18 years I've known them. I've never had the chance, because obviously they're up in Liverpool. I was always over and I don't drive, so it made it a bit awkward. But it
was particularly annoying because my daughter had a reception at the place. I used to live in Edgeworth, which is where it was.
Eileen.
And my ex-parents-in-law still live there.
Yeah.
And it's literally about 100 yards from where I used to live, and it is a very interesting building. And that was the reason, as soon as I saw it come up, I thought, yeah, great. And
I just saw movement in it.
Movement
over my shoulder, and realised, I know now it's Deaky, but it sort of movement, it scared the shit out of me.
Well, I've been looking at the shadow on Ian's door, because the way that shadow is, it almost looks like somebody stood there.
I
know, it's not moved for the duration that we've been on air, but it was the first thing I saw when we all came in.
You scared me.
Yeah, no, it is just a dark patch.
Hello.
Yeah.
Is that up? Yeah.
Dicky.
Oh, he's looking around the room at that. Oh, you've woken up now, have you? Oh, hold on. You're going to have to move, Dick. Come on, then.
I've got one here.
Hello.
Come on, then. Every week about fun.
Oh, there she is.
Ciao, Bella.
Hello, Bella.
Come on, then.
Hello, Bella.
Is that?
Hello.
I will definitely do that, Eileen, sorry. I'm doing it again.
Oh, you get the smile there, Ian.
So I got one here. A good family friend often had seizures and unfortunately had one while driving. Crashed into a swamp and died. We were on the way to the funeral, running behind, and my father's pager went off. It was from this friend's house number. He was a single man who lived alone. Spooked us a bit, as everyone that could have sent the pager was already at the page was already at the funeral. I never figured out a reasonable explanation. We just assumed he was mad that we were running late.
Who's that?
And if
Think
he
about
was
that.
in the car, he might have been sitting there going, "You're going to make me late for my own funeral."
Yeah.
Yep.
So overall, what are you? So the thing is, you can talk to somebody and because unfortunately Linda, bless her, she's just had a friend that passed away.
Yeah.
You know, you may have been talking to the person the day before and just next day go, oh, you know, so and so's passed away, like that. You might get to know. Other time, and then grief, if you want to call it that, it could confuse the situation slightly. And say you spoke to the person on the Saturday, and they pass away on the Sunday.
Yeah.
You go, God, it's weird that, you know, they actually spoke to me on the Sunday when it was actually the day before.
Yeah.
You know, grief affects the human brain in so many weird ways. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's got to be some of that to it. The thing you find when you're reading some of these stories, they're so similar.
Yeah.
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 When you do wonder whether someone's read something and I'll say that's happened.
Yeah.
But then again, it may be happening a lot more than we realise. The stories are going to be similar.
Mm.
I had one weird one with a phone call, which didn't involve a dead person, but it was still weird. I was in my late teens, early 20s, when I lived in a wee village. And we didn't have a house phone at this point. And mobiles hadn't quite been invented. Well, they did, but they were suitcase sized. Literally.
Oh, I remember them.
You remember the old car phones where you had to have
yeah.
a massive
The car battery. Yeah, car battery was the battery for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take the battery around on a trolley jack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's all that was on the go. And we didn't have a house phone. And a family member who was still in Yorkshire at the time, while we were still up here, would phone the neighbour's phone and say, "Can you go and tell Linda to be at the phone box at a certain time and I'll phone her?" That's the way we used to do it.
I remember them days.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this one night, I was out with my pals. We were just knocking around the village because nobody had enough money to come into town or anything. So we're just knocking about the place, as you do when you're teens and 20s. And the phone box at the end of the street rung. And we're all like, that's got to be a prank. That's got to be a prank. And I'm like, I'll answer it because I love doing the prank calls.
Mm.
And I answered it.
So you missed the hunt.
Well, we've got a village nearby called Dallas, and there are several J.R. Ewings in the phone book. So, yeah. And I went and answered it, ready to do a prank. And the voice on the other end of the line is like, "Is that Linda?" And I'm like, "What? Is that Linda?" I'm like, "Who's that?" It was actually the family member from Yorkshire.
Wow.
He just randomly happened to hit the wrong number. He meant to phone the neighbour to say for me to go to the phone box.
And he was already there.
But he'd phoned the phone box at exactly the time I was standing outside it, messing about with my pals.
Well,
And I'm like,
who
that's
remembers the A and B phone? Vaguely. So,
and the
only
old
remember that
phones where you had to press A and drop the coin at the exact same time, otherwise it wouldn't work.
The only reason I remember them is from Dad's army.
I remember when they had the 3 little slots in there that you could put 2p's in, 5p's in, and 10p's in.
10p's, yeah.
So I remember them.
I can remember when I first started courting, and I used to go to the phone box on the corner, and it had the shelf for the phone books. It used to sit on that.
Up all the 10p's.
All the 10p's stacked up, and just people banging on the door. I want to make a phone. Well,
the shelves were there.
I used to line them up across the shelf rather than stack them.
Yeah, I remember them days.
But it was the pub phones that always got me, because you've got to drop the coin in and press A at the exact same time, otherwise it cut you off. The amount of times when you've got a shot in, you wind up going through about £4 of change before you can manage to hit both at the same time.
I just remember from being in my teens, and I was 18, 19. I was working in an amusement arcade in Walthamstow, and like the kids were always coming in and they're spending loads of money in there. And it turns out what they were doing, they were getting diamond jacks, and they were using them to pop the box off the bottom of phone boxes. And I was using the money from the phone boxes to go and play the arcade games, all Street Fighter games and that. I remember them days. Overall, what are your thoughts on these calls from the dead? Are they real? Are they people just simply mixing up days?
I do have to say, I do think a lot of them are real, but I also think some of them could easily be misconstrued. And it kind of sounds like that person. But the ones where it's like showing up on the phone when it's been on a mobile and it's showing up their number or their name.
Yeah.
I think they do have to be something to those ones. But it's funny.
The trouble is, I don't know I can't remember what it was like with the rotary phones, but I know mobile phone numbers after a person died do get passed on.
Yeah.
Now,
some do, not all.
No, not all, but some do. Now, if by sheer chance your friend had passed away, you hadn't happened to have, just for whatever reason, nobody had got round to telling you at the time, and the number had been passed on, there is a possibility it could be just a case of bad luck, but I don't know.
No,
in
that case, it'd be you phoning their old number.
Yeah.
Because their old number would still be on your phone.
The
number doesn't hold the memory. It doesn't hold all the other phone numbers.
Yeah.
What the? Did something just beep it?
Yeah, there was a message in the messenger chat.
Yeah, Joe just sent a message. I can't get to it because I'm using that to...
That's okay. You don't need to get to it yet.
Well, okay.
It's just stupid. I just stumbled across it and didn't want to lose it.
Oh, right. Okay. I can only imagine what it is.
It's very, very important.
Well, what I've done, I've put up... I've started putting up things on the post so people can vote. I did send it to you earlier. And this week I wrote in, because Joe gave us that fantastic list that he found. How to speak more like. How to spot fake paranormal evidence. Rituals that invite the spirits and why you should never do them. Are EVPs real? Are EVPs really the voice of the dead? And what happens after we die? And at the moment, we've only had one vote, but that's our EVPs really the voices of the dead. Now, of all the equipment and all this, that, and the other, EVPs is the one that I struggle to debunk. Everything else, like PSP 7s, K2s, spirit boxes, ghost boxes, and that, I can pretty much debunk them every single time. EVPs, like at my old place in Leiston, where it was for people, most people there suffered with one form of mental health or physical health conditions or alcoholism or something. There was no children in there. And I was getting EVPs of children playing in my front room when I lived alone. And there was no children on the site.
Yeah.
That I can't explain.
Well, it's like that old joke. The most adorable thing is the sound of a child laughing. Unless you live alone and it's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Heidi hasn't actually had any activity for a while. She said it's been pretty quiet there. I will get around to investigating there again, but I haven't done one proper investigation there for a long time. But we are going out to a castle tomorrow. We're going to Eye Castle in Suffolk. It's the Mott and Bailey I sent you the picture of the other day. And when we was there, that CJ tried his first ever paranormal investigation when he was there. So it was 2 years ago. He tried his very first paranormal investigation there, and he done really well. He done really well. So it's well, she goes off with Harry and Kai because Harry, that sort of thing scares him. Me and CJ are going to sit up there and try and do a little paranormal investigation. So it could be fun.
They open at 9 a.m.
Yeah, that's the picture. The picture I've put in Paranormal Anglia, and I sent it in the chat as well. It was at Mott and Bailey. So it's a hell of a view there from up there. You can see.
Well, that's why they put them up there, so they could see the surrounding land and anything approaching.
So it's only left on one level. There's about 4 or 5 steps that are still part of the building. Then they've built a ladder and a bit to stand on, so you can see what would be the second floor. And when he was there, CJ was coming up with ideas like, well, can you explain what this room? Because you got like 1, 2, I think it's 4 little sections over on the right hand side. And he done well. He was asking, what would this room have been, and was there rooms upstairs, and did these stairs lead to bedrooms? He done really well, bless him. So
yeah.
But so it should be fun. So I might actually potentially live stream that on Paranormal Anglia as well. But with the poll for next week, we've had only the one vote, and like I said, that's our EVP's voices.
Well, I've just looked it up, and it showed. Where has it gone now? It shows 4. It shows 4 votes on my YouTube. Shows 4 votes, but it is 100% are the EVPs real.
Oh, mine only says 1 vote. Let me refresh the page. Can't refresh. Yep. I have to refresh my page. Yeah, it says 4 now. So, and I've got lots of good EVPs. So I'm sure you guys have had loads.
My best one is gone. It was on my old laptop. It was on my old laptop, which died a death.
Unfortunately, most of mine are just VPs. They weren't actually recorded.
I mean, this one was, we were at a hotel when there was a murder. There'd been a murder in the bedroom. A fella and his missus, domestic, and he battered her to death.
Jesus!
But he turns out he was a nasty piece of work anyway. He got with the crime sheet as long as your arms, violent assault and things like that.
Jesus!
And we've been calling out and getting quite a bit of activity, and decided we were going to call it quits for a bit, go and have a break, have a refreshment break and that. And I stayed in with one of the lads and we were calling out. I'd got my phone and I heard it as well as catching it on the EVP. Heard a voice say, "They're gone. Get them."
Jeez. I think
the lad I was with looked at me and said, "Did you hear that?" I said, "Well, I'll write down what I heard.
Yeah.
You write down what you heard, and we'll compare." And he got exactly the same thing. And then when I checked the EVP, it was on the...
Yeah, that's the thing with EVPs. Everyone, when you hear the word pareidolia, people think, oh, you know, a wood stain that looks like a face, or the Jesus, the dog's butthole. which I just think is a fantastic name. Or like in the clouds, you can see an elephant and things like that. But a lot of people don't realise you can get audio pareidolia as well, auditory pareidolia as well. So what you might hear, somebody else might hear different.
Like I said, that's why I said we'll debunk it.
Yeah.
If we can.
Yeah.
You write down what you heard, I'll write down did you hear? And that's what annoys me with a lot of these TV programs.
Mm-hmm.
They tell you exactly what they want you to hear.
Yeah. So you hear it. Yeah.
So you hear it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like these ones that put subtitles on the screen for the EVP.
Yeah.
As soon as I hear them say, "Oh, did you hear that?" I'll look away from the screen and listen to it without looking at the screen or anything.
Yeah.
And see, and the amount of times it's completely different to what they think they're hearing.
Yeah.
And it's obviously different. It's not even like it sounds similar.
Yeah.
They really, really annoy me with that, the people.
But I've had it with I've normally done stuff solo anyway, to be honest. But when I have done it, like investigations with other people, you might have got something like EVP saying "Hello, Jim," and they might say, "Well, I hear "Hello, Tim."
Yeah.
And they go, "No. If you listen, it is "Hello, Tim," and then you start doubting yourself and going, "Does it say Tim?" And
it's close enough that you can say you've heard the same thing. It's just interpretation of it. It's when, like Linda says, you hear something totally different. I get it all the time in my job, investigating accidents.
Yeah.
When I'm doing interviews, if I'm interviewing a lad who's not been sat around talking to his mates, I'll get a totally different answer to the three who've been sat around talking and discussing.
Yeah.
They'll come in and this happened. Did it? Well,
but it's a known fact.
It's
a known fact. Witnesses are not very reliable.
No,
look at when we done our first cryptids one. I explained about that experiment they'd done with the Mothman, and the wooden cutout they'd done was only 3 foot tall. One person was saying, "Oh, it was over 7 foot," another one was saying it was about 6 foot, and all that. And the thing was like 3 foot tall.
Yeah,
it's easily done.
Well, I always remember that advert. I can't remember what it was for though. When there was a spaceship landed, and this alien got out full of warrior gear on and all the rest of it. We'll take over the world.
It was about 1 inch tall.
It was about 1 inch tall, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I think that was Volvo, wasn't it? I think.
I can't remember. That's the thing with a lot of these adverts. They're so clever. I remember the advert. I don't remember what the hell they were for.
Yeah. I always remember the first one that had the scare, the jump scare at the end, where you've got the car going through the countryside. And and then at the end you get like the wee blue Yeti jumping up and making you jump.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that post that on TikTok, aren't there? That one as well.
Yeah.
And the other one is like you'll be doing it's rather innocuous, and then suddenly it'd be like a baseball come flying towards the camera or a spider or something. The baseball ones and that I'm usually fine with. It's the spider ones that I don't like. But no,
spiders. I've got another phone one.
Oh yeah.
Woman. She was sat. She put her young son, 8-year-old son, to bed. And he went down, no problem. She was sat downstairs, and then her phone went. When she looked at the screen, it was from his phone. She answered it and heard him say something, and he sounded really distressed. So she went running upstairs, ran into his room, and he's sound asleep.
Interesting. Those that are on TikTok or on YouTube on Weird Wednesday Parrot Podcast, if you want to come over and join the fun.
So she thought, right, something strange here. But she blew it off thinking, well, he's probably pocket dialed me in his sleep and I heard him mumbling. So she went back downstairs. As she got back downstairs, she got another phone call, same thing. She went running upstairs.
You're heavy.
He's still fast asleep. She then saw his phone on the table, the other side of the room. She then heard her laptop, her tablet downstairs start ringing. And then heard a phone, one of the extensions in one of the rooms start ringing. She went downstairs, and again, the one on the tablet was from her son.
That's interesting.
She couldn't check at the time. They didn't have 1471 or anything. They couldn't check but it was funny that all three phones started within seconds of each other, and two of them were from her son's phone, which she could see was on the bed. On the table, the other side of his room, and he was sound asleep.
It reminds me of a personal...
Sorry, Linda?
It reminds me of a personal experience, but it was walkie-talkies rather than phones.
Oh, go for it.
Right. I'm 15-year-old. I'm babysitting in a big house that my mum used to work in when I was wee. And I mean big house, 15 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, 7 staircases. And there's me and 3 kids. Me and 3 kids in the house. The kids were 3, 4, and 6. They had been playing with these walkie-talkies all evening, and when they went to bed, they insisted on taking one with them. So I'm like, yeah, no problem. Now, this big house, I already knew it was haunted because after the babysitter gave us food poisoning, the lady who had it when my mum worked there told her to bring us to work with her because the house was big enough for us to be out of sight. So I already knew the house was haunted, and I'd known that for a very long time. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to be looking after the kids and ignoring the rest of the house. And they insisted on taking the walkie-talkie to the bed with the argument that if they needed a drink of water or anything, they would just put it over the walkie-talkie. So because I'm already a little bit freaked out because I know the room I'm sitting in that's now a living room used to be a bedroom for a lady that I knew who has now passed on. And so I'm watching Blues Brothers just to try and keep my mind off of stuff. And the walkie-talkie goes. And I'm like, what? I didn't hear that. No response. 5 minutes later, the walkie-talkie goes again. And I still couldn't make out what was being said. So I thought, right, they've been in bed about 3 hours now. It's going to be okay. And I went up the stairs because all 3 of them shared the one room because it was big rooms in the house. And the walkie-talkies on the table in the middle of the room, the nearest one to it is 7 feet away from it. So I'm like, okay, who's pretending to be asleep? And there's no reaction from any of them. Yeah. No reaction from any of them. So I lifted the walkie-talkie and took it downstairs with me. Now, before I continue with the rest of the thing, I have to set the scene for where this house is. The nearest neighbour is 2 miles away. There is nothing around you except open fields, no street lights, no nothing. Right? The kitchen is massive French windows, floor to ceiling on 2 walls, the 2 external walls. It's now like 1:45 in the morning, so it's pitch black out there. And I've got both walkie-talkies sitting on the unit next to me while I'm making me a coffee. And the walkie-talkie does that static sound it does when you press the button. And I'm like, okay, that's not funny. And I switched it off. Got my coffee, went back through, put Blues Brothers on again because I wasn't aware if the channel I was watching was a paid channel or what, and I was scared to change channel and end up giving them a bill. So I just watched Blues Brothers again. The walkie-talkie's going off again. So I picked up the walkie-talkie and I'm like, right, who is this? And I'm thinking maybe a lost tourist in a camper van trying to find their other half because they've gone out for a pee and can't find their way back to the camper van. Like, who is this? Can I help? Yeah, hello. And I'm like, hello, where are you? Home. Like, where's home? And he said the name of the house I was sitting in.
Okay.
And I'm like, all the adults are out. There's me and 3 little ones in this massive house, and I'm damn sure I am not wandering through the house in the dark and searching it. So I went outside for a fag. And while I'm outside for a fag, I turned all the external lights off so that my own night vision could come a bit stronger so I could see into the bushes around me and stuff. And I can't see anything except rabbits and hares and deer and things. And there's no sign of anybody on the road because there is a main road goes across the end of the driveway, but the driveway is a 1/4 mile long anyway. And there's no sign of anything with a pulse except for fluffy animals. I'm like, okay, random. This is a bit weird. And then I went back through, sat down, watched the movie. The walkie-talkie goes along again, and it's a full sentence in German. And I lifted up the walkie, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't speak German. I don't understand. Do you speak French or English? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm still focusing on the lost tourist thing, right?
Yeah.
And then it comes back on. Hello, is Oscar. Hello. I'm like, are you Oscar? Yeah. Okay. And then I remembered the lady my mum worked for had a son called Oscar who died in his early 20s of polio.
Weird.
The room I had been given to spend the night in used to be his room.
Oh.
And this is all happening in the living room and the kitchen so far. And I'm like, no, I have to go to bed. I can't stay up all night. So I went to bed and I thought, right, back in the days of the first generation Walkmans,
Yeah.
I have my Walkman on with the Whitesnake 1987 album on.
You're showing your age, Linda.
Yep. Full blast with the headphones on the bedpost so that I didn't end up strangling myself. And I woke up a wee bit later and I was being deafened. The headphones were on me, on my head, where they're supposed to be.
So you're saying that I'm just getting flashes of that scene in Back to the Future.
So I takes the headphones off, puts them on the bed head again because it's big old-fashioned bedposts, and put the walkie-talkie at the other end of the bedside table so I couldn't really reach it. Went to sleep again, and the same thing happened. So I sat up, took off the headphones, switched off the Walkman, and I'm looking into the corner of the room, so like the far left corner, and there's this light. Now, at that point, I'd never even heard of orbs or none of that crap. There's this light. And I'm like, well, the moon's over there, so is it reflecting? So I went and I fully opened the curtains and went and sat back in the same place. I'm like, no, the moon's reflection's over this side. Okay. What the hell is that? There's no street lights outside. There's nothing in the air. There's no helicopters, blah, blah, blah. That's a bit weird. So after all that and the walkie-talkie, I'm like, Oscar, is that you? At the side of the bed. I'm like, okay, Oscar, are you okay? Okay. Can I help you? Okay. Do you want to see your mum? I'm like, is that a yes? Okay. So the kids are still asleep. The parents are still out. It's after 8:00 in the morning. They were at an overnight party, right? And I went through to what used to be his mother's bedroom. Now, his mother liked her bed done a particular way. Hospital corners with, as you're stood at the foot of the bed, the top right corner has to be diagonal, so it looks like it's ready for you to get into bed. Now, the kid's mom and the kid's granny always made it hospital corners and flat across the top. You leave the room, 10 minutes later, it's on the diagonal. That had been going on from day one of them moving in. That was her bedroom, and she was making sure that people knew she was still there.
Yeah.
So I went into her bedroom and I asked for her. I'm like, I know I'm a bit bigger, but I'm hoping you still remember me and still recognize me, and explained who I was. And I'm hearing the curtains in her dressing room moving. Now, of course, there's nothing in that room now. There's just a bed for guests. The dressing room's totally empty. Now, the dressing room is the size of my living room, with clothing bars, 2 different heights of clothing bars on all 4 walls, right? And curtains across to protect them from moths and stuff. So there's nothing on these, but I can hear the curtains going. So I go through into the dressing room. I'm like, are you here? Whoosh, whoosh, the curtains. Okay. Do you remember me? Whoosh, whoosh. Okay. You remember I used to tell you about your ghosts in your house? Whoosh, whoosh. Okay. Oscar is here. Silence. I said, yes, you're Oscar. And it was just a single psh. And I'm like, okay. He wants to see you. He sounds like he's scared. Swish, swish. Okay. Can you follow me into Oscar's room to speak to him, to make him settle down? Because I need to sleep. I have to go to school tomorrow. Swish, swish. So I come through, back into my room. I'm like, Oscar, are you still here? Asked for his mum, are you still here? From a different part of the room. Okay, Oscar, can you see your mum? And then said his mum's name. Can you tap in which part of the room you're in? Yeah. So long story short, I negotiated the 2 of them to get to be able to talk to each other. And I finally got to sleep about 4:00 in the morning. And got up at 7. By which time I'd smoked about 30 fags, even though I was only 15. I smoked about 30 fags and about 500 coffees. And the mum and dad came in about 7:30, 7:45. And she's like, you look like death. I says, yeah, I didn't sleep. And she's like, well, I says, I'll tell you another time. I'm not telling you now. I have to go to school. And she's like, right, okay. But after I had negotiated them 2 talking to each other, I went back downstairs for another cigarette and a coffee. It's a non-smoking house, so you have to go outside. So I've made me coffee. I've taken my coffee outside with my fags. And I'm looking through the window and I can see the walkie-talkies lighting up. I'm like, I turned that off. So I put my fag on the windowsill and I came in and I got both walkie-talkies. I'm like, are you still there? Yeah. Oscar? Yeah. Did you speak to your mum? Yeah, Moti, yeah. I'm like, okay, now go and speak to your mum. I need some peace and quiet. Danke, vielen Danke. And I'm like, I understand that, but thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your time. I just left it at that. I'm 15. That totally blew my mind.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell the parents until 4 years later. I told one of the children last year. Said child is now 36.
Yeah.
So,
it's good when that sort of thing happens.
I just couldn't believe it. But I think if I hadn't been there as a child, I wouldn't have known the names and I wouldn't have known what to do.
Yeah.
It's good that you can use your talents to help in that respect.
Yeah.
Because most people would have just crap blue bricks and legged it.
Yeah. It's always been my thing. I don't know if it's just with how I was brought up or stuff that happened to me and around me as a child. But I often think, how would I feel if I was stuck rattling around this place for 300 years with everybody ignoring me?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I try to help them when I can.
Yeah.
It's only the right thing to do, though, isn't it? So
it is.
Yeah, it feels really
put
sad
yourself
when you
in
come
their
across
shoes.
one.
Yeah. Exactly.
There's one roadside victim near here, and I really, really want to go and help her. But there is no safe way to pull over within a half a mile of where she is. And to walk it would be a 2.5 hour walk from the nearest footpath through the farmers' fields. So, and I always feel guilty whenever I go past her because she's been in the same place since I was about 12. And before I had my brain injury, I used to see her as the family would remember her.
Yeah.
Since I had my brain injury, I see her how the ambulance crew would remember her. And I feel so sad for her that I can't help. And every time I go past there, whether I'm driving or whether I'm the passenger, I'm like, look, if you can hear me, jump in the car, come with me, I'll help you. But she hasn't done so far. But I just feel so bad for her because I really want to help her because I've been seeing her practically my entire flaming life. And she's just stood at the side of the road with her arms out asking for help, covered in blood.
Poor thing.
Yeah.
You know, and she's only a young lass as well. She's only like late teens, early 20s.
Again, most people seeing that most certainly wouldn't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. One final one that has literally come to mind, and it's quite a well-known one, is there is audio of it. 911 dispatchers got a phone call from I think it was a funeral home.
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen that one recently.
And they went there, and police went there, checked it. The place was all locked up. There was nobody inside, and this went on for multiple numbers of days.
Yep.
What happened with that case? I don't know. I didn't bother following up on it, but
it was never solved.
It hasn't. No,
it was never solved. The phone call stopped. What I can remember of it, the phone call stopped a few days after.
Yeah,
it was happening over several nights, and then it suddenly stopped.
The other one I like along those lines is another paranormal 911 one. They were called out to an address. There had been lots of rumbling and banging, but there was no sign of life at the property. Could somebody go and do a healthcare check to see what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
And they pulled up and they're looking at the house. There's no lights on. It's all locked up. And as they're about to give up, this wifey in a yellow dressing gown appears from the corner of the building and waves them over and directs them to an open door where they can get in. And when they get in, they find the same lady in a yellow dressing gown in a crumpled heap at the bottom of the stairs. She's fallen down the stairs and killed herself accidentally.
Yeah.
But she directed the paramedics how to get into her house.
Yeah. I heard a similar sort of thing with a car crash.
Yeah.
It was an American one. On the first responders and everything were dealing with a car crash. And someone came up, started talking to the first responders and saying there was another person in the car.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they got thrown through the window.
Mm.
There's no reason to say, well, there's no evidence that there was another passenger. No, I'm telling you, there was another person. They got thrown through the window. They went down that embankment. Mm-hmm. And when he got to the bottom of the embankment, sure enough, there's a body. Mm. And when he spoke to the first responder who told him, he described him, and when he brought the body up, it was the body of the guy who told him.
There's one like that as well with a mother and child.
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And she manages to get herself to the side of the road in a relatively crumpled heap and flag down a moving vehicle. The car stopped, couldn't find her once they'd stopped, and then they saw the lights of the car through the bushes. When the first responders got down there, the woman who had flagged him down at the side of the road was still in the car, still wearing her seatbelt, passed away. Yep. But her baby was absolutely fine. His kiddie chair had actually saved his life. Yeah. But if she hadn't been able to project her spirit to flag down the moving traffic, they could have been there for days.
Died of exposure. Yeah.
There was another one very similar to that. It was a little girl. It was a little girl though. Supposedly the mother had flagged down a car. There's been a crash. Blah blah. Usual sort of thing. The car was upside down in water. First responders got there, and luckily the mother was dead. I think it was a mother. It may have been a father. I can't remember. But the parent was dead. The child was in water, almost to the point that I was going to go underwater and drown. And this was actually all caught on the body cam.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So, and you can actually hear on the body cam, you can actually hear the mother's voice saying, "Please help my baby."
Yeah.
Oh.
So, I'll have to, if I get the chance to find, and can find it, I'll chuck it in the chat so you can see it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was actually on the news report, put on news report over in America as well. There's a news report of it as well.
Yeah. So, Joe, one of the other favourite ones from the forces and the medics and all that kind of thing. Excuse me, was a guy who was DNR. He was home. They all knew it was like his last few weeks or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. He had the DNR paperwork with him. He'd put it away without telling his wife where it was. Mm-hmm. He dropped with a heart attack. The medics turn up and she's telling the medics, look, he's DNR, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yes, I know, but unless I see the paperwork, I have to try and bring him back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time she went to touch the guy, she had a voice in her head, get the hell away from me. Leave me alone. Let me go. Mm. And the wife's rapidly searching the house, can't find it. And the fourth or fifth attempt where the guy had actually grabbed the medic by the shoulder and pulled her off of his body. Mm. She turns around and she says, you got to find that paperwork. As she's going back to start work again, the guy shouts at her, kitchen drawer, left side. So she shouts at the wife, kitchen drawer, left side, and they found the paperwork. And when she looked at the paperwork and said, yeah, okay, now I can stop doing work on him. And he appeared, stood next to his wife and smiled at the medic and mouthed the words, thank you.
There's one very similar to that I
Again,
heard.
that just brought me out in goosebumps.
Yeah.
I've got my hairs on my left arm have stuck right up in that. There's one very similar I heard. He wasn't a rich man as such, but he had businesses and that, and he had died, and he had a will. Nobody knew where the will was, and that was a phone call. And this is in the days when it was like the box that you spoke through the horn, and you had the bit up in your ear. And after the body was still in the drawing room, it was going to be buried the following day. That night, they was arguing over who was going to be getting what from the business and this, that, and the other, because there was no will. They had no proof. The phone rang, and one of them phones would have been awkward. Lift up the receiver, then you got the horn for the mouthpiece.
Yeah,
and it was supposedly the father's voice, and it was something like brown suit was all that was said. And they found on the inside pocket of a brown suit that he hadn't worn in years was the will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now that I'm more prone to believe a story like that because of one, how far back it is, and for the style of phone it was. Because back then, very few people would have had a phone, so you wouldn't have got cross lines. So, Joe, have you got any final ones?
No, I've used up all my good ones.
I've got
some that I don't really believe. So
I've got a Facebook one.
Yeah. On Facebook, it's true, Ian.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, internet, even just being on the internet, it's true.
Yeah, exactly. But it was one of those. Someone who joined Facebook, been friends with someone and fell out with him, kicked him off. Disconnected from him. A few years later, got a phone call from another friend saying this person she fell out with had died. The funeral such a date. And she said, I really regretted it. She said it was somewhat nothing, a really stupid reason we fell out. She said, but 3 days after, I got a friend request off her on Facebook. She said, she said, and I blocked it, but that happened 3 times.
See, now the thing is, that depends how far back that goes, because there are bits you can get now for Facebook and Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, that after a person dies, for a certain amount of time, it automatically puts updates on there, and it will automatically send out friend requests for people that make.
I don't know how long ago it was. I remember reading this. It's a few years back since I read it. So
yeah, see now it possibly could be something, and they're trying to connect to basically make up for the argument they had. But like I said, there are. I can't think who it was. I was watching it on. I've said to you before. I watched QI. One of the guests on there have said that they've got it set up so when they die for I think it's 3 weeks after they die, it will do updates so that people that haven't heard that you've passed away will find out.
Yeah.
So it could be something like that. It could be something like that. Or it simply could be somebody.
I have noticed if you look under your settings on Facebook, you can make your account memorial.
Yeah,
but of course, somebody else has to have the password to do that for you.
To be able to do that, yeah.
Oh, right. I thought it was automatic. I didn't. No, somebody had to do it. I thought we.
I only found it because I was looking for something else, and I thought it was interesting that you could make your page a memorial page.
I know.
How to scare the hell out of your friends.
Well, yeah, I know my auntie when she died. My cousins who kept her page open, and very occasionally on anniversaries and things like that, they post on it, which could be a bit disconcerting the first time it happened. Like is going on here. I mean, going back to what you were saying about the bracelet DNR. This reminds me, one of the lads brought a bracelet home for his wife and said, "Here, I want you to have this." It was me auntie's.
Oh no!
It was a favourite bracelet, and he said, "She says, why has it got DNR on it?" No idea. She wore it all the time, and
I knew he was going there. Right, it's been fantastic as always, guys. We're 2 hours and 10 minutes, so we're a bit shorter than usual. So, but looking at the posts, we're now up to 5 votes for our EVP, the Voice of the Dead.
Cool.
So, that'd be a good one. Like I said, since I've been here, I've literally got absolutely nothing. I've had absolutely nothing here. But Heidi's place and Leyston place, I could chuck on the EVP, like put on Audacity, and almost without a doubt, I'd get something every single day.
Yeah.
If I didn't get something, it'd be like, well, that's a bit weird. You know, so that could be a good one. But we've got a week, so other people might vote. I personally, it won't let me vote because I'm the one that put the thing up there. So if you guys want to vote, you're more than welcome. I personally wanted to do what really happens after we die, or rituals that invite spirits and why you shouldn't do them. At the moment, we've got 5 votes on our EVPs, really the Voices of the Dead. Now, in some ways, you could kind of link it to tonight's topic, because one thing I was going to say was CB radios for taxi drivers are often very, very powerful.
Yeah.
And they interfere with baby monitors and radios and you name it.
Well, we had it on the motor when I worked on the motorways years ago. We had walkie-talkies because obviously you got people working down in the offices, you people working up on the motorway, having to get in touch with each other, and we were supposed to be on a specific channel. There was supposed to be no one else. And we got regularly, there was a bread delivery place down the road that kept bleeding into ours, so our lads were putting, it was really funny, putting calls in and asking for delivery to such and such, and so many brown loaves and this, that, and the other.
But I have myself, I've been on investigations, and this is going back way in the days when you had a tape user, cassette tape, like a cassette tape to do it. And I thought I've got EVPs, and I've listened to it and put headphones on and put it up full blast and that. And it has been a taxi driving past.
Signals can be funny. I mean, the wee village I grew up in, right? 2 miles away, there are 3 massive aerials, which historically everybody says are BBC aerials. We know they're not. We know they're something else, but it's something that's classified, shall we say.
Oh, one of the underground bases.
Yeah.
So BBC.
September 11th, I watched 15 military vehicles pull up filled with people, and they all went into that tiny little potting shed. So, yeah. But living in that wee village 2 miles away from there, if you turned the hot tap on in the kitchen, you had Murrayfirth radio coming out of the kitchen tap. Yeah. And if you tried,
a bit.
yeah, exactly. If you tried to listen to an actual radio,
latest hot hits.
yeah, you could only listen to an actual old-fashioned radio downstairs. Because when you listen to it upstairs, it would be interrupted by the hyper-fast Morse code, which we used to think was the oil rigs, and I found out 10 years ago it was actually the RAF.
Yeah.
And it was just coming through on normal radios back in the 80s. It was great fun.
Something kind of similar to that is Lucille Ball. The actress the comedian Lucille Ball.
With her teeth.
Why does she channel radios?
Yeah, as Joe said, with the filling. She kept picking up radio signals through her tooth.
I've heard that before as well.
So I've got to say, she's the only person I've ever heard it mentioned. I've never met anyone or seen any other. She's the only person I've
met a couple who
I've heard of it before, not just Lucille Ball, but I've never met anyone.
No.
Yeah.
So
they say if you take a piece of aluminum foil and put it in your mouth, if you've got fillings, you get a little bit of a zap, but you can pick up radio stations.
It's not even just putting actual foil in. Sometimes there's like a tiny flake of foil on the chewing gum.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like chomp, 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 and then it's like, holy
yeah. Well, I find out, so I've got to go to the dentist on Saturday morning. That's just cost me 130 quid. So I'm getting some fillings done and some cleaning done. I'll find out. I'll let you know if I pick up ET.
You open your mouth. What was that you said? Never said a word.
I hope not, because I'm going to suddenly think my flat's haunted, aren't I? So I'm going to get all excited, and it's only going to be like local takeaway or something. But no, guys, it's been brilliant. Thank you, Eileen, for your comments. I'm not sure who the other people were. They've not spoken. I'll quickly
you've had Cole and Gaz. Or should I say Perry and Cole?
Yeah.
I was on there for a bit.
Yeah, that's about it, really.
Yeah. No,
I know my daughter sometimes listens in.
Oh, right. Okay. We have to get. She could come in and join on one of them as well. Get fifth. I don't know if you can get 5 people, but cheers for a great show. Looking forward to next week. Cole. Cheers, Cole. EVPs will be an interesting one. It will be. I'm going to try and find all my EVPs now, but we've only just started. We've got a week to go, so the other votes might go there. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly say goodbye to it.
You don't want to do EVPs, Carl.
I
take it you don't want to do EVPs like I didn't want to do UFOs.
You wanted to do it, UFOs. You kept saying to Joe and messaging him saying, I really want to do UFOs.
I forwarded your messages each time.
No, it wasn't I want to. I said, when you suggest UFOs, that's what I want you to do.
But no, I do want to do EVPs because, like I said before, that is something. Yes, there are radio signals and that can come through, and you can mistake them for an EVP. Yeah. But like I said, from Leiston, when you're in a site, what was it, 12 flats, no children, and you're getting audios of children laughing and giggling and talking, then there's something there.
Yeah,
that's what I like. But no, I really like the idea of what really happens when we die. That might be an interesting one to do as well. So
it'd be great if we could bring somebody on to interview about it, but that's not going to happen.
Especially someone from the other side.
Aye, that's exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we were told it was going to be this, that, and that, but this is what actually happens.
Yes.
Yeah. See, under if we do, actually, I'm starting to, the idea EVP's grown on me is interesting. So, as I was telling you, one of your mates, her dad had recently died, and autistic daughter and her were sat on the sofa. She'd left the bedroom door open and she didn't want the cats in there because she's got like 15 cats. She didn't want the cats in there. And her daughter said, "Oh, don't worry about Granddad, can you do my door for me?" And the bedroom door shut. Now, I've suggested she hasn't had the time because she's been busy with the daughter, and now obviously kids are on school holidays, so they're going out today, so she hasn't had the time to do an EVP. But doing one about EVPs and questions you can ask and things like that. That actually might be a really good one, actually.
I need to look and see if the website still exists that my EVPs were uploaded onto. I don't know if the website still exists.
Well, that was a long time ago. I remember that. That was a long time ago. That was.
Yeah, where they said they didn't want to speak to me because I was a witch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a long, long time ago. That was. I remember you sharing that with me.
Yeah.
But no, that's kind of grown on me, EVPs. So I'm just disappointed I never get anything here.
Yeah.
So, and one thing, my sister hasn't been here tonight because my ears haven't been touched. So I've tried.
You can see, could you? You tell when she's around. Could you do that?
Yeah. When I didn't find out about her until I was 21, she was 14. I didn't know I had any siblings at all, and she committed suicide a week after her 20th. But she would sit on the arm of the sofa. I don't like my head being touched. It's like I don't know if it's an OCD or to do with my mental health or what, but I don't like my head being touched, especially my ears. And she'd sit there going like that deliberately to wind me up. So I'd chase her around the flat. And I would be in my mum's flat and she'd do that to me. I'd go into the bathroom, I'd fill a bucket of water up. She'd be sat on the sofa and I'd literally soak my mum's sofa in water, covering her. So whenever she's around, she does that so that I know it's her. But no, since I've been here, I've had nothing from Bob. He passed away in this very room. His armchair is in the spot where I'm sat now. Nothing from him at all, other than the weirdness with the cook at that time. I've had like a couple of things that have been moved slightly, and it could be something, or it could be me, because sometimes I don't go to bed until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. So it could be that I'm half asleep and I've moved it. I don't know. But I've had no EVPs from my sister. My mum's not come through. My nan's not come through. None of my kids have come through. Literally nothing's here at all.
You might be in a blank spot.
Yeah, maybe.
Possibly. Well, they say you can get portals where the spirit can come through. Maybe there's areas that they can't come to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's just like humans and doors and walls.
Yeah. Well, there's a few humans can't get through doors. You see, gets you a long way on a door that's marked push, not pull.
Yeah.
And you still see them giving it that, trying to.
I do that. I do that all the time. I've shot around the corner. I use that.
It's when they do it 2 and 3 times in a row. Okay, once, it's a pull one.
Yeah.
But when they do it 2 and 3 times in a row, it's like, open your fucking eyes, folks.
I like the sign that they had up on Facebook one time. It says, what was it, like try pulling the door, then it says try pushing the door, and if neither one works, use the regular door to your left. Something like that.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me of I think it was Only Fools and Horses. One of the guys was saying how bad his luck was and everything. And he said he tried killing himself by running through a plate glass door. He said, well, what happened? He said it was one of them automatic ones as I ran towards it.
I remember seeing Warwick Davis doing an interview with Piers Morgan, and he was saying he's never bothered about the fact that he's been a little person. He loves the fact that he is. And he said, but I'll go to a supermarket which have automatic doors. But he said he has to stand there and jump 3 or 4 times to get the doors to open.
I've seen that. There's one particular automatic door in town here that I used to have to take a step back and go, hello, for it to actually register I was stood there, and I'm 5'4".
But no, it's been fantastic as always, guys. Thank you everyone that's been watching. Just before we sign off, I'll say goodbye to everyone on TikTok.
Night, TikTok.
I will try and figure out how to get this TikTok app to work properly. Or Ian's just going to have to bite the bullet and get TikTok. I know he doesn't want to, but you didn't want to do UFOs, you reckoned?
And I didn't. That was an avatar I put in. It's like Joe sending stuff through on Instagram. At first, I could get him. Now, when I try going on, it keeps telling me I can't access it. I've got to join.
I don't have Instagram either. You can still watch it on Instagram.
Mine, I think I've watched that many that it now won't let me.
Yeah, I had to restart my Insta so that I could see them. Yeah.
I can't get the hang of it. I did get Instagram. I've tried it 2 or 3 times. I just can't get the hang of using it.
Yeah, just because I've got it doesn't mean I actually use it.
Oh, my brother, he follows all sorts of people on Instagram and keeps saying, "Oh, you want to watch this? You want to see this? You want to follow this?" I have no intentions of following anybody.
Yeah.
Most of Instagram, in fairness, most of the Instagram ones Joe sends, I'll click on it. It'll say, "Do you want to sign up?" and all this, and I'll click no. And there's a little X in the top of the corner that you can press. You can still watch the video. So I do watch.
Like I say, it used to. But now it won't even let me do that. I do that and it just takes me to an ad and then it takes me back to sign up or clear off.
The trouble is we're all 4 of us are getting old now, so technology's for the young.
Speak for yourself. I'm still 20.
I wouldn't say technology is for the young, but they definitely use different socials to what we do.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say goodbye to those on TikTok. I will try and figure something out for that because that's what we're getting. So everyone buy on TikTok. Let's get rid of that.
Yep. Right.
And it's a pain in the arse having to set my phone up and trying to zoom it in on the TV and everything. Oh, Christ, I hit some targets, whatever they're meant to be. I have no idea. We had 40 people watching us on TikTok, so
cool.
Which is pretty cool.
Leave some feedback.
There we go. What? I'll click my phone off and it's still making bloody voices. Anyway, guys.
EVPs.
It's your previous tenant calling you. I'm here.
Oh, I do want him to come through in an EVP because I want to get my own opinion on him because I've got mixed opinions from neighbours that have known him. Some have said he was the salt of the earth and some have said he's Satan. So I'd like to get my own opinion, you know.
I'm just wondering who's looking in through your back window.
I was probably Paul Walker.
I was going to say what Linda said about my shade on my door. I've been looking at that light that's coming through your back window, and every so often
reflection because my front room has 2 lights in it.
Yeah,
so it's just a reflection of one of my lights.
But every so often, it's when I look, especially when I look straight at it, it disappears.
Yeah, actually, looking at it now on the TV, there's a flicker into it.
Yeah.
That could be because I've got the blur.
And that just went very, very bright.
Yeah, the light did just actually change. Oh, I can't see now. I just looked at the bloody thing. Oh, not good for the cataracts. Anyway, guys, fantastic as always.
Yeah.
At the moment, like I said, we're looking to He looks like it's going to be EVPs.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we've got a week to go.
In a couple of days, what it says.
Sorry, Joe.
We'll see in a couple of days what it says. Give people time to vote.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what Ian suggested the other week, leaving it until about the Saturday, and then taking it from the Saturday, what the final result it seems to be the way to do it. Because the one for this, I keep using the mouse for the big laptop to try and move the mouse on the little laptop. Because the options for this week were phone calls from the dead and the satanic panic. And literally right up until the day before yesterday, it was 50-50.
Yeah.
So it's only like the last 2 days, it went to 60-40. So that seems to be a way of doing it. But this is I believe, our 14th stream.
I think so.
And we're now up to, I think it's 108 subscribers. Cool. So and when we started doing this, I was on 22 subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
So we're starting to get
strange
those.
people out there.
Was four of us on the
We're
screen.
close to getting
yeah.
the gold thing from YouTube.
No,
This close. That's 1 million subscribers. We are so close to getting that.
I think it's
Somebody's been watching YouTube all day
I
then.
was going to say, someone's been watching Diane Abbott and her mathematics.
Yeah. We got to get to 100,000 first. That'll be then we'll do the 1 million.
11 million.
And I know I was humming and hawing about it, but I think I might get a month's worth of vidIQ. It's just under 20 quid. Do it, see if we can boost a few of the posts so we can bring more entertainment to people. So, right, so guys, it looks like I said we're doing EVPs. At the moment, we're doing EVPs. Yeah, it's on 5 votes at 100% on EVPs. So it's been fantastic as always tonight.
Yep, it's been a good one.
Diabetes is kicking in, and I'm desperate for a loo right now because I've drunk 2 cups of coffee and a bottle of Coke. Bella, you going to say goodbye to Ian? Hey.
Come on, Bella.
Hello.
I think she's lost interest for the night.
Yes.
You're not with it, are you, baby? Hey? No, she's not with it.
Who are you?
Listen, say goodbye. No, she's not with it. Bless her. It's so hot in here, though.
Yeah, it's red hot here.
Yeah.
So,
let's see what my...
like I say, it was saying it was 23, 24 degrees and light rain. Went outside, it was 30 odd and cracking the flagstones.
If the room temperature gauge thing on this is right, my front room is 87 degrees.
Well, it says on my phone.
It's 84 outside and 87 inside.
Well, it says on my phone, I knew it's 19 or 76 outside. The wee digital thermometer that's on my desk here was saying 26.8 earlier. Now it says 24.3.
Cool.
But I'm used to translating.
It's 25 degrees C here.
24, did you say?
Yeah, 24.3.
You double it, add 30 to -2.
That's 77 degrees Fahrenheit, right around there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It must still be warm where you are, Joe, because you had, 107 degrees today?
We had 107 today, but it's 25 degrees right now, Celsius.
Yeah.
So it's 77 degrees, 76 degrees.
Well, like I
Not
say,
bad.
I wasn't checking it through the day, but because I've effectively done like 3 tours, I feel like I got in the shower fully clothed, and I've been like that all day.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
To be honest with you, I'm regretting putting Mr. Telephone Man. I should have put Betty Swallocks because it is just so warm tonight. It really is. Anyway, guys, I shall chat to you in chat.
Yep.
Those that have been watching, thanks very much. We had 40 watching on TikTok. Brilliant.
Yay!
Yep.
Nice.
Until
Excellent.
enjoy the rest of your evening, guys. I'm going to go get some cheesecake.
Well, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna grab a drink and go to bed because I'm up tomorrow for work.
Yeah, me and Noel have got a 5 a.m. alarm tomorrow for
We've
change.
got our CEO coming in tomorrow, which I'm really, really looking forward to.
I'm going to get up about 9. I got to mow the lawn tomorrow morning.
Gee. You have mine for me as well, Joe. I can't be bothered to do mine. I've got me going.
Yeah.
I'm taking the kids out to that haunted castle anyway. But anyway, good evening, guys, and enjoy the rest of what there is.
Yeah.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Night.